Squid Pro Quo, a Squid Game podcast where there are only 3 rules. 1, a player is not allowed to stop podcasting. 2, a player who refuses to podcast will be eliminated. And 3, the podcast will be terminated if the majority agrees. I'm Sean.
And I'm Mike, and I want you to know, I remember to do the 3 fingers.
I'm so proud of you.
I know you could feel it.
I to rip off a joke you said 3 minutes ago, like riding a fucking bike.
Like riding a bike.
Like riding a
We're
fucking
professionals.
bike. We're back
Hello,
here.
everybody. Squid HQ.
Technically, season 4.
Of of our podcast.
Of our
yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Technically.
Not of the show.
Yeah. No,
Because technically, it's season 2 of this show.
Okay. We'll get into that.
Okay,
We'll get into that.
let's be real. Let's be real.
But, you know, we're embarking on something that would be... It is sad, a little bit, to see it go. But also, I feel joy in knowing that at least we still have the reality show to be Gonbu Brothers 4.
We started this podcast going, it's just going to be like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That's how we started it, because we would finish it, and here we are.
And now we're like, I can't wait for the next reality show season.
Before we jump into season 3, I put that in quotes. You guys can't see it, but I did quotes with my fingers. I want to talk about a couple emails we got over the break. Hold on, I didn't prepare this. I don't remember what we read. Did we read? We read regular Pat's, right, where he called you Dash.
Yeah, that was really upsetting.
Yeah, we read that. There were a couple emails that asked if we were going to watch Battle Camp because it's basically a Netflix all-star reality show, and it contained Trey and Lorenzo. So I don't think we'll cover that.
No.
I might watch it just out of curiosity's sake, and maybe down the road, but we haven't had time to talk about it.
No.
And so shout out to our friends that suggested that maybe we'll do a special episode where I explain it to you or something.
Oh, that might be fun. Or if you watch like the first episode and you're like, we have to do this, you know?
Right. Anyway, I'm not going to read all the emails we got. I do want to shout out the person that signed up our email for a bunch of spam. Really fucking cool. Appreciate that. Like, every day I just get fucking like hey, we can help you get out of debt emails and shit. And if someone, their name is Shayna, whoever you are, Shayna, thanks for using squidboyspq@gmail.com to sign up for all your fucking bullshit. And then shout out to Dennis, who sent us an email with the subject line Squid Game podcast, and then sent from my iPad was the only part of the email. So
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Big preach to both those people. Shout outs.
Can we blame the spam emails on Jip?
I don't think Jip's name is Shayna, though.
No, but I'm still mad about
I
him
have a full
spoiling
name of the person that I can blame. Yeah, maybe they're mad at Jip.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, like, I know that it's season 3 quotation marks, like, we're supposed to be like moving on from the past, right? I'm still really fucking mad that Jip spoiled season 2.
Yeah,
and I just want to make sure that we remind everybody that happened.
I'm not mad he spoiled it. I'm mad that after he spoiled it, he tried to act like he didn't spoil it.
Yeah,
that's what bothered me. Yeah. He tried to act like it was our fault that he spoiled it.
Yeah. He's a cretin.
He is. So this episode of Squid Game is titled Keys and Knives in English. I don't know what it's titled in Korean because I can't read Korean. I also want to mention that I am going to do my best with names.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because I was watching this a second time. I watched the... full disclosure, we watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But I was watching, and I was like trying to connect names in my head. Like literally the wrap-up episode we did for season 2, I had everybody's name wrong, and we got multiple comments. They're like, I like that Mike just keeps calling this person this. But I was also reading it from an email where someone called them the wrong thing.
Oh, okay.
So it was like not all my fault, but like I'm just really bad with these Korean names. So I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, I while I was watching the episodes, made myself a key for who people were, because I was like, dude, what the fuck? And this is a large, so we briefly discussed this at the beginning, so I'll throw this in here now. Maybe we talk about episodes 1 and 2 in this episode. I don't know. We're gonna talk about episode 1 to start, and we'll see where we go with that, because I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on episode 1. My major thought on episode 1, which is the big picture thing, is that the taking the break between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3 just totally killed the momentum for me. It really took until episode 2 for me to get back and remembering that I care is a weird way to say it, but it really is like what happened.
Well, and I don't want to beat a dead horseman. Shout out to What Is This, a Crossover Episode, our other podcast. But the idea of splitting this and then calling it 2 seasons is asinine.
Yeah.
Because they could have just said, hey, part 2 comes out here. Because they do that currently. They're doing that with Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they've tried to pretend like this is a second season when really this episode starts the like second half of the arc of the first season.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing final about the end of season 2, and there's nothing that's like new about the end of, or the beginning of season 3, right?
Yeah, it just picks up a bunch of plot threads that are,
And hey, if you want it to be a different moment down the road, which is clearly what they wanted to do, just say, hey, part 2 comes out here.
Yeah.
And maybe they were like, this is such a big gap, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But they've been doing that since The Walking Dead. Like AMC used to do that with The Walking Dead
just how,
all the time. Mad Men, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just like how things went.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the season 3 thing. It really doesn't make a ton of sense to me, especially after watching this episode.
Like, I really hate that, like we say we hate to keep harping on it, like I do, but specifically with episode 1, it really affected my enjoyment. Like I said, like I remember like who all these people are. I was like, oh yeah, and there were certain things that like the big thing, and it's right off the top at the beginning of the episode, is we had discussions about the guard lady.
Yep.
Her name.
Go ahead.
Her name is.
Hit her name.
Noel.
Yeah.
Noel.
No.
We're sorry.
Kang Noel.
We're really sorry.
Thank you, IMDb.
We're really sorry. But we had like talked about, did she kill the dad of the sick kid? We didn't think so.
I don't think we questioned it. I think we both were like, this is fairly obvious what they're doing is that she's gonna wound him.
Yeah.
And then try to keep him alive.
I guess I think we knew what was going on, but I feel like the episode beginning with that in this one, yeah, that's what happened.
I just think they thought that people were gonna go, what? And it's like, no, that was fairly obvious what you guys were doing.
I think
that's how the episode opens.
I think it would have if they had held that moment back for like an episode, maybe I would have been like, oh shit, maybe they actually did fucking kill him. Right. Like I almost feel like that would have worked more. Where it started, and I was like, oh, okay, we're just answering this question right off the bat.
Well, and they do this like first person view.
Yeah. And
it reminds me of the Doom movie when Dwayne The Rock Johnson goes into first person. And I don't know. It's just kind of weird. That's the cold open is they show that, she shot him and then said, close your eyes, I'm going to try to keep you alive. Mm-hmm. And we get Squid Game 3. Title
Game
episode Keys and
2.5.
Knives. Yeah.
2.8.
And it's a cold open, but then I think to your point, they then also they drive it home again because we cut back to it and they're putting him in the coffin and she's making nice with one of the guys who's running this whole organ harvesting operation. And they're like, "Hey, why are you playing nice with us now?" And she's like, "Well, might as well like save some people's lives with these organs, since these people are gonna die anyway."
Like,
and this guy's a creep, by the way. Oh yeah,
absolutely. I also think that this is something I'll try to like refine my thoughts on this as we go through the season. I almost feel like they cut the season at the wrong spot. If they were going to split it up, and what I think would have worked better would have been so different that I don't even know if there's really a point in following the train of thought. You have cut it? But my wonder is if I think this episode is it takes way too long to get back into things like this full episode. I wonder if maybe we had let season 2 play through like half of this episode before it ended. Like the thing I'm really thinking about is with the guard. If we had seen at the end of season 2, like putting him in the crate, like if they had shown it as if he was dead at the end of season 2, like we watched the process, and then we come back in season 3 and we see it, maybe this time from her perspective, and we get the sequence again, but with all right,
here's my take at this. Here's what they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're right. They don't make it obvious that she's saving him. Mm-hmm. They show the people getting loaded in the coffin.
Yeah.
And then we go to Gihan screaming on the ground, "Why didn't I die?"
Oh.
And that's where you end the season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's very artsy fartsy of me, but I just think that would be cool.
Yeah. And I think it would help to get kind of into things a little bit quicker in this. Especially since it feels so much like season 2.8 final chapter prologue, to the point where it's like, okay, like by the end of season 2, we're ready for things to start happening, and it feels like it's not like a hard reset almost for an episode, in a way that doesn't feel great to me.
Right. So moving forward, they have this actually really cool shot of them bringing a coffin into the dormitory, and it kind of sits like right in the middle of the red and blue lines. And I think that's and it's like for the top down perspective, and they reveal that it is Gihan in the coffin. They get him out and get him in a bed. We also check in with our boat boys.
Oh my god.
A lot of boat boys this episode.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god, the fucking boat boys. I've never seen that's not true. I have seen this, but I'm going to make the joke anyways. Like, I've never seen a plotline get so much screen time and have so little happen.
That, and also like okay, so obviously we as the viewer know that Captain Park is up to no good, right? We know this as the viewer. But like, he just becomes like a mustache twirling villain in this episode. Like, anything people say that's like against what he wants, and it's just, and maybe it's because we as the viewer know he's the bad guy here.
Yeah.
But like, it's so obvious to me. Like, everything he says is just, well, he would have washed far away, so, there's no point. Or even later when what's-his-face decides not to come, he's like, yeah, that guy's a wuss. You know what I mean? Like, everything he does is just so clearly, like, evil, mustache-twirly, like, traitor that it blows my mind a little bit that it's written this way.
I think that's a great point in that I think it also connects to what's going on with the guard and the dad of the sick kid, where it feels like this episode is exploring like it wants this tension from these mysteries almost of like, oh, things aren't happening as you expect them, but they fucking telegraphed what was happening super clearly at the end of last season. Like, I think there's a version of this again where we go into season 3 where it's not as clear that the guard didn't kill the dad. And also maybe we don't know who the traitor on the boat is.
Right. They could have played that. And then maybe they revealed it with this like phone call that he gets later.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, not to like be one of those people, but brothers on a CB radio calling a telephone. That is not how that works.
Yeah.
That made me really irrationally mad. I was like, how is he calling the frontman's telephone with a CB radio? That's not how that works. Anyway, sorry.
I also feel like there's a aspect of, and this is like, there's nothing they could have done about this. This is just staying on the mysteries note, but a problem of they didn't plan for this to be more than one season.
Right.
Frontman, very again, like the tension, the mystery, a lot of it's gone, because we know everything, because they made the first season without like knowing that, oh, in season 2, we're going to make this frontman this character who's around and nobody knows who he is. And like, it feels like the tension isn't there because we know too much almost. If that makes sense.
I get it. Well, and also, I mean, we're kind of jumping around this episode because I don't know that we need to recap this episode in the same way we would, because not a lot happens, right? No. But they do this thing where the front man is getting ready for the next game, and they're like, the VIPs have arrived. And he's like, okay. And then he leaves. And then we don't, even in the next episode, see these VIPs. And because the VIPs in season 1 were such a like nothing thing. Yeah. It's like, are we supposed to be excited about this? It's just going to be a bunch of white dudes that are like fucking perverts. Like what are we supposed to be excited for with these VIPs? Like, why is that intrigue? It's not.
It
right?
definitely feels like they thought that people liked the VIPs a whole lot more than they did. Because I feel like even in season 2, they were building up to the VIPs a lot.
And like, full disclosure, we've only seen the first 2 episodes, so maybe the VIPs play into this a lot more than they did in season 1. I don't know. But it just seems kind of like he's like, clean up before the VIPs get here, and it's like, why? They don't care. Are they your boss? Like, I'm just so, the whole VIP thing is still, I'm still in the weeds with it, where I just don't understand what they're. I guess they fund it, right? But I don't know.
I do want to shift a little bit to some positives.
We're being too negative?
No, but I do have some positives that I want to mention.
Okay, I will say this is why I wanted to cover both episodes at once, because I really like episode 2,
Me too. And a lot of my positives are more about episode 2. But even in episode 1, I don't know, maybe I was in a mood when I watched season 2. Whatever. I felt like the sauce was back a little bit more in these 2 episodes, in the visual flair of the show.
I will say that in this episode and the second episode, there are a lot of really cool shots. Yeah. That I talked about the coffin one. A lot of there's this shot going around that's a meme right now of Gihan getting up to go play the game right as the episode ends, and it looks like a title screen of a video game. Have you seen people meme this?
No, I have not. That's incredible.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's like people have put like a Yakuza game on there, or like Five Nights at Freddy's,
that's funny.
And it's just like, he looks like a title. The way it's shot, it looks like a title screen of a video game, and it's awesome. I love Gihan's not so slow descent into badness in this episode.
I gotta say, Lee Jung-jae, holy fuck, he's so good in these 2 episodes. And
he is.
Every time he's on screen in episode 1, like, I'm into it. You know? Yeah. He's killing it.
I love the, because it again, we're not going to recap the whole thing, but it's explained to him that Daeho, was a coward and didn't bring the magazines back, right? And he when they're talking to him, this is after he kind of crashed out about, why didn't you kill me? And then he abstained from voting. and then I don't remember his name, but the son with the glasses says, yeah, Daeho came back and da-da-da-da. And he doesn't react to it in the moment. Like, he's just like staring off, and they're like, wow, he's really out of it. But the moment no one's watching him, he turns subtly and stares at Daeho.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cut later to the morning when everybody's waking up, and he's turned his whole body.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's handcuffed to this bed, and he's turned his whole body to stare at Daeho. So when he wakes up, he sees him, and it's terrifying. It's so cool. I can't. If you would have told me that Gi-hun would have had this run as like this intimidating presence, I wouldn't have believed you in a million years.
Yeah.
But he's such a good actor that I believe it. Right.
Yeah. No, he's great.
I started calling him the Gi 1000. Like the
I fucking
T1000,
love that, dude.
Because he just like when we get to the next episode, and just in this, he's just like very little movement, just stares, just like it's incredible, dude. Like he's so good in this episode and the next episode. I just love it.
There's a shot in episode 1 that or not a shot, but a little sequence that I thought looked great, and the sequence when they're walking to the game and they have suspended the rebels, shall we call them, the people that tried to fight their way out, and they're kind of hanging them over the staircase. I thought that was a very and then very good visual.
The best part of that visual is Daeho's like noticing it, and he's like, oh shit, I betrayed them. And then he turns, and Gi-hun from across the fucking chasm is staring him down. It's so good, dude.
It is really sick.
We'll get
like the whole episode is like Daeho just like looking around, and Gi-hun is always fucking has his number, you know?
And are we just gonna talk about episode 2 here? I feel like we should.
Yeah. I have one last thing I think that I wanted to say.
Well, we can talk about episode 1 more.
Yeah.
But just,
no, absolutely. Let's talk about episode 2 as well. Let's talk about both.
Right. So the character assassination of Daeho is insane.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Because this was one of the most likable characters in season 2.
Yeah.
Like, he's helpful. He da. And then we find out, you know, he has a lot of cowardly moments, you know, at the end of season 2, and then season 3, I can't get, and I said this to you in season 2, he had some blood on his face in an unfortunate way through that whole thing, and he reminded me of like a kid that ate Chef Boyardee too fast, the way it like looked, and so there's that, and so he just comes off as such a buffoon through all of this. And then we find out, you know, at the end of episode 2 that he was never a Marine, and his Marine tattoo is fake.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how you plan something like that?
I mean, I guess the assumption is that I guess the assumption is this is something he did in his normal life, is fake being a Marine.
Right. That he would go around telling everybody he was a Marine and he was not.
I think as a whole, and this is again just like I'll refine these thoughts as we go through the season. I feel like the supporting cast of these 2 seasons is nowhere near as strong as the first season. Not the actors and actresses, but I think the characters. I think there's too many of them. There's so many fucking characters in these 2 seasons. Well,
not after episode 2.
Not after episode 2 anymore. But and I think one of the things that I didn't realize until just now I'm really missing about these characters, and you talking about Daeho made me realize is season 1, we got to see them outside of the game. And we get to see a few of them outside of the game, but like, I don't know what Daeho's like outside of the game. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. You're right.
And so we're talking about, you know, this totally different character that he is in this episode. I think for me, there's one turn too many for him, even though I really like his sequences. I can take he's actually a wuss who was just pretending to be tough. I think that's fine. At the end, he kind of becomes a super soldier for a little bit.
So, okay. Yeah. So we're bouncing all over the place, but I'm at 2 minds of this, because I agree that he comes off as like very strong in this fight with Gi-hun.
Yeah.
But I think if Gi-hun because he originally when he catches him in that stairwell, he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm not really a Marine. He's begging for his life, basically.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be part of your group because I thought even a loser like me could do it. And if Gihan just like fucking kills him right there, we've lost that character.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
And so I think you had to make it where it was a struggle. So he kind of is like playing possum a little bit, right? And so I that had to happen, but I do agree that he comes off as way. But also, we got to remember, Gihan isn't really like a super soldier either, right? I know they're painting him like this like cold-blooded killer at this point, but that's not his background either, right? And so, I agree with you.
And I don't know if it's a direction thing. I think it is. His performance is a little weird in that there's a switch that happens towards the end of the episode where Daeho becomes a third version of the character, and then, spoiler alert, isn't around for very long. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, and it's all
narratively, I understand this struggle, but the way he
Right.
portrays himself, I feel, changes very drastically.
Yeah, and he's under duress, you know what I mean? Like I can believe a little bit of it. And it's what it's setting up, I think, based on what we see at the end of the episode, is Gihan, shifting the blame from him to himself.
Yeah.
And if he just slits the guy's throat when he's begging for his life, that doesn't work. So you need the guy to be almost semi, not to quote Dr. Evil, quasi-evil.
Yeah.
When you know what I mean, like you need him to be in order. So Gihan still is I'm assuming a redeemable character at the end of this. And
the sequence itself is incredible. It's really I want to say this episode as a whole, again, like I said earlier, feels like some of that sauce is back. This might be one of my favorite. This is really fucked up. This might be one of my favorite game episodes. Like,
the game is so good. To lay it out, because we just been kind of bouncing all over the place. Basically, there's two teams, and they set this up in episode 1, and then the game plays out in episode 2. But you're either on the blue or the red team. Yeah. And the blue team is the hider in the hide and seek, and they also have keys. And there's 3 different shapes of keys, which they get into later, to unlock doors. The red team are the seekers, and their job is to kill the blue team. If you kill one member of the blue team, you pass to the next round. If you don't kill anybody, then you die. And they are given these very Nintendo-ass looking knives.
Yeah.
As their thing to combat the keys. One part about the sequence when they're explaining the game that's really funny to me is like the guard that's explaining it is kind of like, okay, like every time he says something, there's a complaint, and he's like, I hear your concern. Like he's just very like customer servicey, like, oh god, he's like, that's not fair. They get knives. We should get a shield or something. It's like, okay, you can switch sides, I guess. And it made me laugh, especially the second time watching it. It made me laugh super hard because this poor guy. But they end up being able to switch sides before the game, but once the game starts, you're not able to switch. We get some like interesting switches between MG Coin and Junhee because she was on the killer side, and he goes, hey, I'm gonna kill somebody and I'm gonna come find you and save you.
Man,
mom and son switch.
Does that go places?
Yeah, it does. Mom and son switch because son doesn't think mom could kill anybody, which again, wow, that really old man number 100 is on the blue team. And he's mad that he wants to kill somebody, but no one switches with him. He tries to switch with Gihan at one point, and he just kind of gets. Gihan might as well have barked at him the way he like looks up at him and he like gets scared.
I gotta say, great screen presence. The look of the old guy is great. Maybe the worst fucking character in this whole show. Like
worst character, and also I read I think he's a pedophile.
Oh no.
I think I read something. I don't, you never know on Twitter what's real and what's not. But like like statutory, like that kind of thing.
Oh
yeah.
no. Okay. Well.
So not great.
No.
And
just like, on the narrative side, just
you
fucking
gotta separate
like
art
nothing.
from artist a little bit. But...
Well, no, but I just mean even on the narrative side, like fucking nothing. Like a nothing character, who's just gets so much screen time.
Yeah.
Again, like I just kind of really don't get it because he isn't anything,
Yeah. He's just like, I think he's supposed to represent like a certain kind of person that is very prevalent in politics right now.
Yeah.
And which is probably why we don't have a lot of love for him.
Yeah.
And also he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so they get set up for this game, and what I guess we should touch on the Boat Boys plot, because it doesn't really nothing. I don't think anything happens in episode 2 with the Boat Boys, does it?
I don't think we see them at all in episode 2.
No. So we'll just wrap it up real quick.
Mostly the game.
Yeah. The Boat Boys. God, I need to look at IMDb to remember his name. But the most likable of the Boat Boys.
Juno? Oh no. Wusiak?
Wusiak, yes. Yeah. He has a bad feeling about the captain because he's recognized that the captain is a mustache twirling villain. And Junho wants nothing to do with it because he saved him, right? But we find out that he is in immediate cahoots with the front man, if we didn't know already. Yeah. He calls him on a CB radio to his phone. And the front he goes, hey, if this stuff goes sideways, what do you do? And the front man says, kill everybody, including the detective.
But Frontman's actor gives a very good performance in that scene. I have to ask you about the CB radio thing. If they showed a scene of like Frontman's talking to the phone and his phone is connected to like another guy and another guy's holding the phone up to a CB radio to like bridge the two, would you like that better?
That'd be funny. It'd be funny. I think it's unrealistic, but it'd be funny. Yeah. The CB radio really bothers me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just like, I feel like we harped on this a lot in season 2, but again, I really just need to stress we are 2 episodes into season 3. And from what I understand, the boat plot so far has been they find the dead guy, they go to port, they get a new guy, they go back out to sea.
Yeah, basically. Well, there was the part where they found the hatch.
That was last season.
Exploded.
I'm talking about where we're at in this
3.
season.
Oh,
we are a third of the way
you
through.
Meant overall.
No. I mean, we're a third of the way through this season because it's only 6 episodes.
Well, Homeboy though is like, hey, he's up to something on the land. He didn't go on the boat. It's
just like. I don't know what they're doing with this boat plot. I really don't think this boat plot works the way that they were hoping, especially when you stretch it out across 2 seasons.
Right. Well, like, okay. Let me ask another question that may be CB radio adjacent. Is drone pilot a job? Can you just like put out an ad in the newspaper, hey, I'm looking for a drone pilot? Or is it just some dude in his basement that has a drone, right? And so for them to be like, hey, I found this drone pilot.
Yeah.
By the way, our last drone pilot died.
Yeah.
He fell overboard.
Yeah, presumably.
So we're going to pay you to come be our drone pilot. We don't think anything bad. We don't think anything like, it was an accident. But, like, we're looking for this danger. Like, how do you find this drone pilot? Like, he even goes, yeah, this guy was really hard to find, so treat him well. But it's like, what?
The first guy was, like, militia. And this guy, kind of get the feeling he's just, like, off the street,
Yeah, he's just a guy. Like, he just owns a drone. And
it's also, like, he walks on the boat and the fucking cartoon villain is there, He's like, it's like, do you guys see him twirling his mustache, or is it just me? You
hear what happened to the last guy? He says it's like, Jesus Christ. Junho just told you to treat him well. Stop.
And And they're like, yeah, you know, he was the last guy that saw him. And like, I just, yeah.
Another thing that happens in episode 1 is we also get the transformation of where do you go? What's his name? Namgyu into Thanos 2.0.
Hey, I gotta say, I'm digging it.
I love it.
I
hated this character in season
Me too.
2.
Me too.
I really like him.
I really like him now too. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was just saying, before we get into the game, I want to wrap up the guard plot, and then we can just talk about the game and those characters.
Oh yeah, the guard plot. Yeah, you're right. So they show her the operation. The guy is a creep. He's like, we can go on a date. I know a good date spot. And so it's like, he, of course, she's just saying, hey, I want to be partners. And he's like, well, we're going to have sex, right? And it's like, what a fucking creep. So he brings her down to where they're getting ready to operate on the sick kid's dad.
Yeah.
And everybody demasks because that's what they do, because they said the last people failed because they didn't trust each other. Well, right as they're about to cut in, she kind of guns them all down.
Yeah.
In pretty
badass fashion.
You know, yeah, she's kind of a badass, and she keeps one guy alive to say, hey, keep my friend alive or you'll die.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, I wanted to note, she doesn't say, I'll keep you. She doesn't say, like, you'll live.
No.
She says, if he dies, you'll die. So then after he fixes the guy, after a blood transfusion, which is fucking crazy, by the way. She ends up just shooting him right away. He's like, you promised. And no, she actually didn't, bud.
And I think
she just said,
like, she's a very interesting character. In her coldness. One that I wish we were exploring more. I feel like,
because again, we don't see them in episode 2 as well.
It definitely feels like this was something at the beginning of season 2 that I was like, like Juno, like the Juno and this storyline. I was like, oh, these are two like really cool, like different takes on Squid Game. I'm really excited to see where these go. And joke's on me. That's not what this show's about. My last little note about this is, can you imagine being that fucking guy waking up fucking half naked on a operating room in what looks like a sewer, and surrounded by dead bodies?
Right.
Can you imagine?
And well, like, also like a blood transfusion. Okay, is fucking crazy. Like, it's not just donating blood. It's a blood transfusion that she does. She would not be in any condition to go do anything for a little bit, and neither would he. Like, you don't just get someone else's blood in you and go, oh, well, I had a Gatorade, I'm right as rain. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... I get we're supposed to suspend our disbelief on some of this stuff because it's a television show, but like the blood, they didn't have to do the blood transfusion. What was the point of that? Just say, he's like, oh yeah, I got the bullet out of him and he should recover. You know what I mean? Like, what? Why are we doing a blood transfusion? Is it important that we know her blood's type O? Like, why?
Maybe it is for the finale. Maybe that's gonna come into it. You know?
Hey, if that's the case, I will give a 2-minute apology on that episode talking about how the blood transfusion was important.
Full 2 minutes.
I will absolutely do that. A full 2 minutes. You can time me.
All right. We can talk about the game. Broad strokes really quickly. I just want to say, man. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, though, because we kind of glossed over the transformation of Namgyu here.
Oh, okay.
Because it starts here.
Yeah.
He goes to Minsu, who of course was friends with the gal that Namgyu murdered the night before, and he kind of like he Thanoses him. He even speaks in English, which is pretty crazy. And then right before they go into the game, he asks MG Coin to team up, like, hey, it'll be easier for us if we kill people together. And MG Coin is kind of like, this guy sucks, but this guy sucks, but he's right, you know, so they do it together. And then at the end of that episode, we get the Gihan fucking title screen, which is fantastic. Yeah. But so the game, broad strokes of the game.
Yeah, I love the way they shoot it. I think all of the action in the episode, just lots of long takes of these like terrifying hallways.
Scooby-Doo ass fucking one guy goes in the door and Shaggy comes out the other one.
And it manages to be super tense in a way that I think really works. For me, the most terrifying game, being stabbed is like my worst fear.
Yeah.
And this is
it's tough to even, because, you know, a lot of times we'll talk about, like, what would you do in this game? It's tough to even think about playing this game in any kind of strategic way, because a lot of it is just all luck, you know?
It's a lot of luck, and I think it's actually very interesting. This is something that I think we've talked about over the podcast of how it'd be interesting to have a game like this where I think I said paintball or something, but something that was very direct conflict and not like, oh, I win and so therefore you die, you know? This is like, no, you're going to kill this person. You know?
You have to kill people.
Like, that's how you win. You winning doesn't kill people. You kill people to win, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And that is interesting, I think.
Because you can't really hide behind the game. Like tug of war, it's like those people die, but like, and it's your direct action that causes them to, but you can go, oh, I'm playing a game right now.
Yeah.
Where it's a very terrifying game.
Yeah.
I really like, they kind of play with your mind a little bit with some of these shots. There's a particular scene where Daeho is running from somebody, and the way it's shot, you think he's running from Gihan.
Yes, yeah.
But Gihan's actually chasing another male with a ponytail in the similar hairstyle. And they both happen to reach the doors. They're in the center of this playing field. There's just a giant like chasm.
So fucking cool, by the way.
It's so cool. And you think that he's caught Daeho, but he caught the other person. And then standing below him is Daeho.
Yeah.
Looking up at him.
Yeah.
And Gihan's looking down at him, and it's because Gihan doesn't kill the person because he's like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to kill this one particular mother. Maybe the fucking shaman bitch. Maybe I'll kill her.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to kill anybody but Daeho and maybe her. And so but that shot of him staring down at him,
so good.
And what it does too, you know, for Daeho is he sees Gihan spare somebody that would just let him win.
Yeah.
So he knows for sure now Gihan is here to kill me.
Yeah.
Which is just terrifying, right? Like this one person, he doesn't want to kill anybody but me.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
There's a shot here where it's the old man holding a door closed. And like the left half of the screen is him like, you know, holding the door closed, and the right half of the screen is what's happening on the other side of the door. It's like a cutaway.
Yep.
And first of all, great shot. So fucked up. So fucked up. Everybody in this episode comes across, not everybody, a lot of the characters in this episode don't come across great. Can we talk about how MG Coin and New Thanos turn into the fucking, I don't even know. They're hunting rabbits or something. They go fucking crazy.
Yeah, so they kill their first guy together because they don't want to...
because they don't trust each other.
They don't trust each other. So they go, hey, we'll kill this guy together, and then we'll kill another guy together. And then once they do that, MG Coin's like, well, I promised Junhee I would find her and protect her. And he's like, well, hey, listen, though. We need to kill every blue person we find because... it's 30 versus 30. Every blue person we kill also kills a red person. And MG Coin kind of like stares ahead and he's like, oh, fuck, this guy's right.
Yeah, no.
You know, like.
When he started saying that, I was like,
can't deny that.
I was like, fuck, that is. Like, if we like to talk about, like, how do you play the game correctly? Morally horrible, right?
Yeah. But if you're trying to win and survive.
You kill every fucking person you can in there. If they're on the other team, you kill them, you know? Like, it...
Right. Namgu keeps doing this thing where he's like, "Look, they have doll eyes." After he kills, look at the life leave their eyes. It's fascinating. Well, he's also drugged out of his mind too, right?
Yeah.
Because he still had Thanos' stash, but I mean, talk about the Joker, right? Talk about this unhinged villain, just absolutely out of his mind, dude.
Who do you think? You recreate this game, okay? But both, it's only 2 people in the maze, and 2 people get knives, and they just have to kill each other, okay? So really, it's not recreating the game. I'm just asking you, we put 2 people in this arena to kill each other. It's this guy and Lorenzo. Who wins?
I think Lorenzo dies, dude.
Oh no!
I think Lorenzo dies. I really do.
Oh no!
This guy's unhinged.
He is unhinged. That's true.
He drugged out of his mind and unhinged. But they're just causing chaos. There's one point where the shaman woman, she has her followers.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I've divined this is the exit." And she opens the door and then quickly shuts the door and walks away, and they're like, "What?" And then those 2 burst out of the room and just start murdering 2 people. It's insane, dude.
I had such a scene, because throughout the whole episode, I'm just like, man, I fucking hate this lady, so much.
Yeah.
And she's got like her posse with her, that have been following her around for quite a few episodes now, even in season 2, right? And when she goes in and then turns around and immediately walks away, I just was like, oh, that's a funny shot. And then they come through the fucking door. And I started to laugh, and then I was like, oh wait, this is horrifying.
Here's the thing, though. They do this twice in this episode, Sean, where something horrifying happens, but then there's this funny little fucking joke.
Yeah.
Because later, her name escapes me, 120, she, protects Junhee and Mom from this other person.
Oh, yeah, and then the guy walks away.
And then the guy walks in, the guy in the red team walks in and looks, and he's just like, okay. And he's like, I'm not fucking with her. And I wouldn't either, man. She's a badass in this episode.
Smart fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed watching MG Coin and New Thanos just fucking go insane throughout this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really liked, we kind of started talking about her, but crazy lady working her way through the place. That was fun. Is it just the main people left really to talk about?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about young Sheik and his mother, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's kind of
part of the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually the shaman woman and the old guy team up, kind of.
Yeah.
Because we didn't explain this, but basically all the blue people have keys, and there's 3 different types of keys.
Yeah.
Triangle, square, and circle. And you need all 3 keys to get through an exit, we find out.
Yeah.
One thing that does bother me about this, Sean, and I wonder your take on it.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't.
So, when the old man and the shaman get all 3 keys and they find the exit, he takes a key shoves her away, takes a key out of the door, and slams the door shut.
Okay.
But they clearly stated in the rules that once a door is unlocked, it cannot be locked again.
Ooh.
They state that in the last episode.
Yes.
Once a door's locked, it cannot be locked. So, I mean, maybe they just didn't mean the exit doors.
That's what I have to assume, is that
Sure.
the exits are the only ones that.
But why make that state? Because they don't play with that conceit anywhere else. They don't go, oh, these doors can't be locked, right?
Well, I think the idea is the people with the keys can't use that to get away.
Yeah, I suppose.
They can't run through a door, turn around, and lock it again.
And I guess telling them oh, you can lock the exit door. I don't know. I
think I actually kind of took this differently. I think they meant the door, or I read it as the doors in the arena physically cannot be locked again. You're not allowed to lock them. It's once they are unlocked.
No, I'm not saying not allowed.
Okay.
I'm saying physically.
Okay.
And to me, that the exit door shouldn't have been allowed to be physically locked. It shouldn't have worked that way.
Yeah.
But maybe that they just didn't mean those doors. I don't know.
It is a really
fucking me a
fucking
little bit.
great moment though when you realize that's the twisted shit about these games. Because Like the thesis of these games that like Frontman and all these people are trying to prove is that people are bad, you know? Like
Yeah.
so to have like this game that is so much about self-preservation, because like I didn't mention it earlier, but like when we're talking about like us being in the game, I'm telling every single one of these motherfuckers, shut the fuck up, or I'm fucking leaving your ass. Like stop whispering, stop stage whispering so loud. Everybody, shut the fuck up. Everybody, don't make a fucking noise.
Also, shut that baby up.
We'll get to that. Well,
that baby was crying way too fucking much. I get it was just born, but that CGI baby was crying
we'll
way
talk
too
about
much.
we'll talk about the CGI baby. But there's even scenes where like they're walking around, they're like, oh no, oh god, I'm like, no, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
But so I do like that, like in this game where it's so much about self-preservation, you get to the end, you fucked over everybody else because you're like, it's all about me, right? You can't fucking get out unless you had two buddies.
Yep. Well, I mean, number 100 kind of proves that thesis wrong because he does get out but he betrays somebody to get out, right?
He does. Yes.
But one thing that happens that's not a main character thing that we didn't talk about is Minsu finds Namgyu's drugs.
This shit
and because of the
insane.
The conversation they had before about him being like, you know, not tough and not being able to do it, he takes the drugs and then walks around trying to find, I don't remember her name, but his friend that got murdered. Like, I need to save her. Namgyu's going to kill her.
This might be the scariest part of the episode.
He's off his gourd.
Yeah. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
And then, thank God he fucking kills that bitch.
Well, and he sees her once before and like just kind of walks away because she like runs away from him. But then this time he's like asking the same question, and she, of course, because she's a rude person, is rude to him.
Yeah.
And so then he sees Namgyu instead of her and stabs her, right?
Yeah.
And but then he sees the girl that Namgyu killed.
Yeah. His breakdown is excellent.
And then the way the announcer's like 310 eliminated, 310 eliminated.
Oh, it's so good.
Like
it's so
he's
good.
just like holding his head. No.
Yeah.
It's really good. I'm excited to see the fallout of what happens to him.
Well,
because he clearly has never done drugs before.
And that's something that this episode does so well that like I feel like the really good episodes of Squid Game do, where it's you brought all these people to the fucking brink. Gihan just murdered somebody. And gotta say, love that they talk about like, oh, what, you expect us to kill somebody with our bare hands? No, don't worry. We're going to give you knives. Gihan kills him with his fucking bare hands. He chokes him to death. You know?
Right.
Like, and there was a little bit when they introduced the concept of like the big hole in the center of the arena, I was like thinking, because we, along the lines of what you were saying earlier about like, how are they going to have Gihan kill somebody in this without like tainting him almost? And so I thought like maybe, like maybe he would be like, forgive Daeho and then accidentally push him out or something. Right. And I'd be like, oh, he gets the kill, but like we didn't make him like murder somebody. And I gotta say, I really love that the show has like the guts to just be like, no, he fucking chokes him to death. Like he
murders him.
He murders him.
But if you would have done it with like Daeho just begging for his life.
Yeah. No,
I think
that would have been too much.
It makes the character irredeemable, right? Yeah. But because Daeho pushed him to the edge, so to speak, at that point, you know.
And he does it with his hands. And I think that's just the part that is like, ooh. Like, is he the only person? I think he's the only person in the episode that kills somebody.
Yeah, with their bare hands.
Yeah, with the bare hands without like a weapon.
Well, and it kind of, I just thought about this, but it kind of mirrors the end of season 1.
Dude, I actually was thinking while I'm watching the episode, I was wondering if he was gonna like, because there's a shot like of his face like realizing what he's done, and I was wondering if the camera was gonna turn back around and it was gonna be his friend, like he was gonna have seen that again.
Well, because he was going to strangle his friend at the end of the Squid Game, right? And then he stopped, right?
Yeah.
so I like that it mirrors that he's finally been broken.
Yeah.
He's finally, he's not irredeemable, I don't think, but he's finally been broken here.
Yeah. And like, I'm so excited to see what that does with Frontman, because that was one of the really compelling parts of season 2, is how Frontman's like goal, it seems, is to break Gihan.
Right.
And he's done it. Like, to finish out the Gihan stuff before we get to what honestly for me might be the best part of the episode, which is the last group of characters. But Gihan turning the knife on himself, and then the knife is like shot out of his hands. First of all, that's fucking crazy.
What a shot.
That's insane.
What a shot.
That's insane. Like, we're
It was a
talking
pistol.
like blood transfusions. We're talking about, that's like some fucking, the clip from like, I don't remember what Resident Evil game it is, but the fucking gun fu, like, you know what I'm talking about? They're on the boat. They're just, that's like, they shoot that thing right out of his fucking hand. Perfect shot.
Yeah, that's a crazy shot. We're going to find out next episode it was the sick girl's dad that shot it.
Oh.
That's the
I feel like
the spoiler.
He's probably hiding. Yeah, anyways, we'll I'm actually, that'd be interesting if he's one of the guards. I feel like that's got to be what happens, but
well, cuz they kind of hint that, because when she's like, I'm going to keep you alive or whatever, she looks at the guard's uniform. So I think he's definitely in a guard uniform. I don't think he's in this game. But
No. Yeah. And then what is the highlight of the episode for me, I thought was great, and the way it all played out with some CGI weirdness, was
I thought the baby looked good.
I thought
but it was clearly CGI.
The first time I saw the baby, I was like, "Oh," and then I thought it was fine for the rest of the episode.
We've come a long way since Ally McBeal dancing baby is all I'm gonna say. Okay.
But this like this like trio of the pregnant woman, the trans girl, and the mother, just so compelling. Jumping to the end of it, trying to think, this isn't the same thing, because in season 1, Ali was like my favorite character, and I don't think the trans girl quite reached that heights. But man, that was one of the roughest deaths for me. I was really disappointed to see her go.
I don't know that she's my favorite character, but I think she's the most likable character in the whole season. Like, she's a character that has done nothing wrong in my eyes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And I guess that is like the Ali role, right?
Right. But yeah, it's, she fights off 2 different guys to save them, helps deliver a baby, finds the exit, everything's going great, and then MG Coin stabs her in the back, not knowing that the other 2 were in the room.
Yeah.
And
it's just, it's like, I don't know, like, that's a character I was always compelled by whenever she was on screen.
Yeah. She's a badass. She's cool to watch. Like, and I as I was watching the episode, there was a part of me that was like I was pissed at first, because like I like her so much. But like I think back on it, and I'm like, I mean, they really gave her. It's not like they killed her off in a shitty way after not giving her anything for the 2 seasons. Like, she really played a great role during her time on the show. She was a hero throughout the show, throughout both seasons. And I will say, one thought I had while watching this episode, and we'll talk about what happens next. This is almost getting into Walking Dead, nothing ever goes well territory, like torture porn territory. The Walking Dead started to do that, especially in the middle seasons, where I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore because it makes me upset. I'm not there yet on this show, but this episode was close, because we get, Gihan kind of tainting himself by murdering someone with his bare hands. Yeah. We get 120 getting murdered after saving those 2. And then the next part is the mom having to murder her son because he was going to murder the woman who just had a baby. Yeah. So it's very tragic. Everything's very tragic. I'm not out on it. I really like the episode. I think it's effective. And I think at a certain point, and I think, again, this goes back to splitting the season.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to throw in what's the second episode of a season.
Yeah.
Where if it's episode 8 or whatever, it's like, okay, things are really coming to a climax here in these last few episodes.
Yeah.
And so I think part of it's a state of mind, right? Part of it's like, oh man, episode 2, they killed off all these characters, and I know that happens in this show, and I'm not saying I dislike that. I'm just saying there's a certain point where you're like, man, is anything ever going to get better for these guys?
Well, and to that point, trying to stay away from as many spoilers as possible, but I've seen the reception of the season has not been as high as I've seen people really did not like this season. And the vibe that I've gotten is that I feel that we are in for a controversial ride, in that I don't think people were ready for the show to be exactly what you just said. I think that the creator came back and he's got a story to tell, and it's not a fucking happy story. And I there's a part of me that wonders if, almost to stick the point of like, yes, I brought this back after it was a huge success, but like, I'm going to make you wish I had it, you know?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I just, that's what it reminded me of, is there's.
Yeah, I know. I think that's totally valid. Like, I'm not trying to like, I guess I'm just saying, like, I think what you're saying is not going to be an uncommon opinion. I think that is something, and I might even end up agreeing with it by the end, you know? But I feel like we are in for a rough ride in terms of how intense this is and how tragic.
To clarify, I don't think this is as bad as The Walking Dead.
No,
gets, because I think The Walking Dead has some. There's this is
fucking
probably
bad.
A spoiler, I guess. Well, this is after Beth. Even there's that. I think the kid's name is Noah. But him and Glenn go to like this department store to like look for something.
Oh my god, that scene's insane. Oh my god,
and it's so. That's when I stopped watching the show the first time, because they do this thing where he gets caught in the spinning door and Glenn's safe and he's not, and then the zombies push him to the window, so Glenn can see him get ripped apart.
Yeah, and what is one of the grossest.
One of the grossest, but also just one of the most unrealistic, torture porny things that they could have done. Yeah. And it really made me go, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Star of Everybody Hates Chris, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was him.
Yeah, you're right. He is.
Yeah.
Tara and I started rewatching The Walking Dead, and when we got to that part, I skipped it because I was like, I don't want to see this again, man.
Yeah.
This is fucking not necessary, you know? And Beth, I get like part of that show is to gross everybody out, and you know, but I was just like, this was like unnecessary after everything else they've been through. But anyway, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So 120 gets murdered. The baby gets delivered before this, by the way, and they have. Speaking of like weirdness, they have a umbilical cord cutting scene.
Yeah, that was
which
crazy.
You don't typically see in a television show.
I have another question.
Is it umbilical cord related?
No, but it's baby related.
Okay.
Is having a baby in the games jumping the shark?
I don't know if it's jumping the shark, but I'm interested to see with what, like, I think if they do anything other than the guards are going to take the baby and keep it safe, I think it's jumping the shark. If they're like, she has to compete while holding her baby, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's dog shit, and that shouldn't happen. Yeah. But if it's anything other than we will bring your baby to your family or whatever, you know, then it's dog shit. Yeah. So I don't know where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah. I just was like I was like, man, great dramatic moment, like for her to have it, you know, during one of the games, like, you know. Great television, but it's like, okay, now we have a baby in the games, and there's 4 episodes left where there's just gonna be a baby hanging around, and that could either work or be very goofy.
Also, Junhee broke her ankle. Yeah. She's cooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna have to do something there because she's cooked.
Yeah.
because they made that look particularly nasty. That ankle, the way it was red and swollen.
Yeah.
So good makeup work. But so then they get to the exit that she found, and they have all 3 keys. And as she's opening the door, young Sheik shows up, the son, and he wants to kill Junhee, who's holding a baby, because he's like, Mom, I couldn't do it. I couldn't kill anybody, so I have to kill her. Otherwise, I'm going to die. Mom, I'm going to die. And the mom, to her credit, she loves her son, but she doesn't want Junhee to die either. She goes, kill me.
Yeah.
Just kill me. That's,
Yeah.
And he can't do that, but he can kill a woman with a baby. So he attempts to do that, and she pulls her little needle out of her hair accessory and kills her, or not kills, stabs her son so he stops.
Yeah.
And then the time runs out and the guards kill him.
And her performance is so good.
So here's my question for you. He definitely wrote this after watching the reality show, right? After Trey and Mom had to play marbles, right?
I hope so.
He absolutely did.
Yeah, no,
he absolutely saw that and said, yes, a mother and son shall be in the games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hope so.
Yeah. I think and the mother will try to sacrifice herself for the son, but a twist, she will have to kill him. What a twist.
What a twist.
Why do you think they didn't show us what the exit looked like? There are 2 very specific scenes of characters seeing the exit with like shining lights and fun music playing, and they don't show it.
Can I be cynical?
Okay.
They budgeted this as 1 season, and it's ended up being like fucking 14 episodes instead of 8.
They cut out the fun exit.
They're just like we can't fucking build another set.
Oh God, I have this on in the background, and I just got to the CGI baby, and you're right, it's bad. I changed my mind. I think
it gets better. I think it gets better. You know.
I think the Death Stranding baby looks better.
Like season 1 was 9 episodes. I think seasons 2 and 3 were 1 episode. They budgeted that shit as 1 episode, and they were like, we can't fucking make a set for the whatever we're imagining that exit looks like is better than what I think they were going to be able to build.
Absolutely. You're right.
Especially this is a pretty insane set. For this one.
The set's really cool. Yeah, I like the Starry Night. I mean, that's what the episode's called, the Starry Night, but I like the ceiling being the Starry Night themed. And
I have another question for you.
It's okay.
Because I'm just realizing something. Did they totally bury the lead of we still haven't gotten the fucking game with the doll?
Yeah, with the boyfriend.
Yeah,
the girlfriend.
That was like the first thing they fucking said about this show.
Yeah.
About when it was coming back, they were like,
"What
we're
if we get to the end and it doesn't exist?"
Well, there was a shot in
so
the trailer.
funny.
Remember, like one of the first.
I know.
Or was it the post credits or something of season 2 or whatever?
It was the post credits. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. I hate post credits on this fucking show. But like they show that as the post credit scene, and then that's not the next game they play. That's great. Like at this point, I don't know why they told us it was going to be in it. Like, wouldn't that be? As we're getting to the end of the season, wouldn't we want to have it be like, oh man, I wonder what the next, what game are they going to play? Because in my mind now, I'm like, oh, well, they still have to play that game.
Yeah. Well, there was like a railroad, wasn't there, or something?
Yeah, I mean, look, I couldn't begin to decipher what that game is actually going to be.
It seemed like a play on red light, green light.
Yeah, but it just, I wasn't thinking about it until just now, of like, we still haven't seen that fucking game.
Yeah, we don't know what that is.
We are. If we take our totally correct theory of this being 1 season, we are 9 episodes into the season, and we've not seen the fucking game that they were like, guys, be excited. This is gonna be the game of next season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I don't think I have anything else to discuss on this episode now.
I think that's all I've got.
I think we nailed it. Sorry we were kind of all over the place, but I just really feel like And that's why I suggested to Sean we watch both episodes before we do our episode, because I just really feel like if we just had seen imagine if we had just watched episode 1.
Oh yeah, no, we wouldn't have had anything.
And then went to record this podcast, we would have been like, yeah, that sucked.
We would have, and this has been known to happen. But
I'm excited for the next game.
This has been known to happen. We would have ended up talking about How I Met Your Mother for 20 minutes.
That's true. That's true. Or How I Made Your Mother, the companion podcast of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I stay updated every week now, Sean. You got me hooked.
Well, I have not listened past episode 1.
Yeah, I don't know that you should. I don't know that I actually like it. I just think I run out. I have a few podcasts I listen to every week, and I run out when I'm driving.
Yeah.
And so I'll go, okay, well, How I Made Your Mother. And if it comes out on Mondays, and like the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast comes out on Tuesdays, right? So I definitely listen to that. And then every other Tuesday I get Dungeon Daddies, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I listen to that. And then in like the football season, there's like a fantasy football podcast I'll listen to, right? And then sometimes I'll listen to the rewatchables depending on the movie that they're talking about. Which recently it's not been movies I like. So and then that's it. And then Game Scoop. I listen to IGN Game Scoop. It's my one IGN podcast, Incel Gamers Network. And so I'll run out of podcasts for my commute. And so Monday I won't have any podcasts because I've run out from the weekend. So I'll listen to How I Made Your Mother. And I'm like, this is fine. And then the Lonely Island one comes out on Tuesday, and I listen to that. And I like just power through that. And then I'm like, all right, back to How I Made Your Mother, unless it's a Dungeons and Daddies week, right? And so this is my whole schedule for my podcast. And then Game Scoop doesn't come out till Wednesday. So then I'll listen to Game Scoop on Wednesday. And then unless there's a rewatchables, that's good, because that usually comes out around like Monday or Tuesday, right?
What I'm hearing is
so basically what I'm saying is
podcast recommendations, guys.
What I'm saying is that, I'll listen to How I Made Your Mother, and sometimes I won't finish it, and I never will. And then the next Monday, I'll go into the next episode.
Can I give you a podcast?
Okay.
Recommendation that I love this idea. It's Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe? And it is a podcast where these two guys.
I hate that name.
They what?
I hate that name. Keep going though.
Where they go through and they like are coming up with like a fake dark universe thing going off of that shitty Mummy movie.
I am afraid of the dark universe. I am, to answer the question.
Yeah,
I'm very afraid.
Yeah. It's really good. It's like each episode they alternate pitching like the next installment in the universe.
Okay, that actually sounds kind of funny. Maybe I'll check it out.
Really fun. It's like, Can
I recommend you a podcast?
Yeah.
So it's this podcast where they cover the Fallout TV show, and it's called Fallout Boys, and it's hosted by you and me.
Oh, yeah. I like this pitch. I really like.
Wait, I've pitched this to you before.
Did you?
Yeah, Fallout Boys. Come on, I've pitched this to you.
I mean, we might have to see what happens when season 2 comes out.
Yeah, if it's good. I still haven't seen the last episode.
I haven't either.
Jason and I watched the whole thing after a charity stream, except the last episode because I had to work the next morning.
Yeah.
And we still haven't watched it.
I think I'm in the exact same spot. I think I stopped at the last episode for some reason and never finished it.
Maybe our first episode will be the last episode.
That would be pretty good.
Fallout Boys.
Fallout Boys. Let's go. I've got another podcast that I'm going to pitch. And it's called...
Okay. Is it a fake one that you and I are going to do? Or is it a real one?
It's called... What is this crossover episode? It's another podcast where you can find Mike and I. And I promise, we're going to finish it.
Somehow it was both. Somehow when I asked it was both.
We watch and talk about hit show BoJack Horseman. If you want more of our
God, I love
goodness
BoJack.
After Squid Game ends, you can go listen to that.
Yeah, and yeah. So go check that out. What is this crossover episode? We're We've recorded some of season 4, right?
Yeah, we did a few episodes. And then
but
I
we're
got
not done
into
yet.
spring busy season, and I'm just coming out of it, actually. So,
It's carpet season,
I was so fucking busy. I was so busy. It was really insane.
Yeah, dude, I believe it. My job's been a nightmare too, so maybe we'll get back to that soon, and we'll release season 4, release the Sean cut.
I think we did like half of the season. So
we only did like 3 episodes.
I think we did like half. Because the last episode we did was the mass shooting one. And that's episode 5 of 12.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. You just reminded me. I was gonna ask you at some point during this episode, do you think this is an allegory for a school shooting? Because every room they go into is painted like a kindergarten classroom.
I agree to end the episode.
I also agree to end the episode.